Received a bite report from police communications that Mr. Aaron Voorhees, sitting to my left, at 390 Hollow Trail in the Brownsville, was bitten when trying to separate his dog Coco, a bulldog mix altered male, from Rebecca Puma's dog Lady, a mixed breed spayed female. Mr. Voorhees advised that he and his son were taking the dogs out for a walk, and Coco snapped his collar and slipped out of his choker chain and ran down the driveway to Mrs. Puma's residence, to her gate, broke through the gate, and Mrs. Puma's dog Lady, protecting her property, got into a fight with his dog Coco. Mr. Voorhees advised that he was bitten by his dog when trying to separate. On April 9, 2018, I then spoke to Mrs. Puma, of the owner of Lady. Ms. Puma advised that her dog, Lady, was in their fenced-in yard. Her son and his friend were in the house playing their video games. Mr. Voorhees' dog broke through their gate and attacked their dog. Her son, Carla Puma, gave a statement, and he advised that his friend and he were inside playing his Xbox when they heard a commotion outside. They ran out and saw a large dog attacking his dog and biting her. Ms. Puma advised that her dog Lady was taken to the Greater Annapolis Vet Hospital, where she received treatment. She had multiple bite wounds that were sutured to close. On April 9, 2018, I, Officer Thomas, did contact Mr. Voorhees, advised him of the incident, and that it's under investigation, and it was a public safety incident due to the severity of the injuries to the other dog, that Coco would have to come into animal control for quarantine and public safety investigation. On April 10, 2018, Mr. Voorhees and his girlfriend, Jessica Hilton, the owner of Coco, did bring him in under public safety investigation and quarantine. After thorough review of all the statements, medical records, and photos, Animal Control issued a vicious order per Anne Arundel County Code, Article 12-4402. It means to protect the public from further incidences. They did file appeal, that's why we are here today. Just to advise and stuff, when we originally, Officer Herbert, which is my fight investigator partner, when she talked to Mr. Voorhees and stuff in the beginning, Coco was quarantined starting at home. For the fact is we did not have the medical records on the other dog to realize how severe it was. That's why that changed, the quarantine would change, and the dog would have to come in here.
I'd like to object just a moment on Mr. Voorhees being bitten. He was not bitten by the dog. So I just wanted to clarify the bite report.
Okay. Officer Thomas, are you finished?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, go ahead.
My name's Jessica Hilton. I'm the owner of Coco. What I'd like to do today, members of the board, is I would like to be able to communicate to you that there was no negligence in my dog being at large on April 4th. It was unfortunate that he broke his leash during a walk. And I'd also like to clarify what lawfully restrained is for the Puma's dog Lady. She was in a gate that was not affixed or secured, which is how my dog got to her. And also, I guess we default to the Maryland state for serious injury, since Lilo's law does not account for that. And finally, to disprove that my dog is a safety risk. And first, I'd like to call Joseph Lynch to testify, please.
Good morning, everyone. My name's Joseph Lynch. I'm a longtime friend and neighbor of Coco and Jess, and I have had the opportunity to take care of the dog independently. By way of background, my name is, I've been a registered nurse for closing on 25 years, and have, of course, been a dog owner for all of my life, but currently also work fairly extensively with canines in both professional capacity and in personal capacity. Having worked with Coco is a puppy, large puppy, is an energetic dog. Has never acted toward me in a vicious manner. I've walked into the home unaccompanied, with permission, of course, and to let the dog out and feed it and take care of it. And I've never had any issues either controlling the dog or if been threatened by the dog at all. I have seen the dog interact at a distance, seen it interact with other dogs, and is very, very interested in playing with other dogs. He's a very playful dog. So what I see as a dog, a smaller dog in fear, defending itself and provoking a confrontation. I don't see Coco's actions as having been an outright attack on the dog. And I'm happy to answer any questions again.
Thank you.
One question I have is, with all the pictures we got, is there a picture of the gate that the dog pushed through?
Yes.
Thanks, everybody.
Well, she indicated that the gate was unsecured.
Yes.
The one in here appears to be a secured gate, so I'm just confused.
It's a U-latch, but there's a chain that holds it together that is still hanging to this day. I drove by this morning. It is still not secured by the Pumas. And the zip ties to hold the fence together came after the incident. The gate was merely hanging.
So where's this chain you're speaking of?
It's right to the left. If you look at the close-up picture, that's to secure the gate closed.
Okay.
It's still hanging today. And it was hanging that day as well.
The U isn't holding it closed?
It's just to push you, so the littlest amount of pressure will pop it right open.
You're saying you push it, it just
It just gives.
From my
Yes.
understanding of how that door system works is if you, on the outside of the fence you push, it'll open up. Inside of the fence you push, it will not.
Correct.
Just my understanding. I'm not a carpenter.
Aren't we missing the big picture though? The dog broke loose. You had your dog on the lead. The lead broke us. And I listened to the other gentleman who just said the dog was very active and he had walked the dog. The
Yes.
dog didn't break loose. So shouldn't we get back to how your dog got loose to start with?
Sure.
To go in someone else's gate is, in my opinion, right now, it shouldn't even have reached the point to go in anyone else's gate. So I think we're skipping right over the main issue, how
Okay.
this all took place. So
Yes.
can you tell us about, I don't know a lot about
No
leagues,
worries.
but I know this, the chair does. So can you tell us about that?
Absolutely. So the first witness I'd like to call to speak of the incident is actually my son, Paul Hilton.
Okay.
State your name, buddy. And what's your relationship to Coco?
Brothers.
Do you remember April 4th?
So me and Scotty.
Can you speak up, please?
What day of the week was April 4th?
Wednesday,
How do you know?
because I get half days every Wednesday.
What happened after dinner and chores on April 4th?
Me and Scotty were attempting to walk Coco and Shauna, our other dog. I had Shauna and Scotty had Coco. And Coco did like a turn move and popped the, it's okay.
It's okay, buddy.
It popped the chain. And then he started running down the street and ran past a skateboarder. And I put Shauna back in the house.
And then what happened?
And then I started to walk after Coco and Scotty, and he ran past a chicken coop and another guy walking into his house.
And which way was he running, bud?
Left down Holly Trail and ran past the Pumas initially, and ran right past them, and then came back around to run back towards the house, and the Pumas dog started barking and caught Coco's attention, and he ran down this like side thing to their house, which didn't lead anywhere, so he turned back around, and the dog was still barking, so he went over to like investigate, and then they were just sniffing at each other, and then the Puma's dog bit through the fence and got Coco in the nose, and then Coco, I guess, didn't really like that and sort of like was just barking. They were both barking at each other, and then Coco hit the little side of the fence, the door, like a tap. And then
How did Coco open the gate?
he like just walked. I guess like he didn't really run. He just sort of like tapped it and it opened, and then they sort of started fighting.
Did he ram the gate?
Mm-mm.
Did he jump up on the gate?
It was just a tap.
with Zed or?
Yeah.
Okay. And the gate opened and then what happened?
They started to like fight, I guess.
Okay. And then what, buddy?
Scotty jumped on the dog or Coco and put his hand in his mouth to separate them.
And what did you do?
I grabbed the Puma's dog and checked on the Pumas because that's what Scotty said.
Okay, buddy. Thank you.
Paul, thank you for that, okay? Although, couldn't hear it. Okay,
Okay,
we just couldn't hear it.
I understand.
I heard all of it.
Thank you.
Yeah, I did. So, I got most of it anyway, I should say.
Couldn't hear it all. We couldn't either.
Bits and pieces.
Okay.
Thank you for, the question I think we all want to know here is, what type of leash were we walking the dog on? What type of collar did the dog have on at the time? I think
Yeah.
that's really an important thing right now.
He had a lead harness. It's black underneath and it's red on top. If you pull, you know, it's supposed to turn him around. Can't easy walk, can't think of the name. And he has a choke chain, which was suggested by his trainer at PetSmart, because he is a bigger dog. I walk him all the time with no problems, hundreds of times. Have I walked him without incident? But this particular day I was not there. So he had both restraints on him. And he could testify to that now if you like. Okay, Aaron,
Yes.
April 4th, what happened?
Good morning, folks. April 4th, after chores, when we went out to supper, I get the kids on Wednesday. It's my day. Jess works late, so finished up our chores. We're gonna walk the dogs. We fixed the lead and the chain around Coco's neck, and Paul hooked up Shauna, the other dog. I don't know what breed of dog she is, but I call her rat dog. She's got a little terrier in her.
She's a Beagle Chihuahua mix, mostly.
Anywho, we were getting ready to walk the dogs, open the front door, Coco being very excited, lunged forward and snapped the harness underneath. He then did this, backflip move, facing me, his whole body twisted inward. I'm holding the glass door, storm door. Front door is already opened up, I'm holding it. He's on the other side of the door now, and I'm holding a leash that's just holding on a choke chain. The harness is dangling. And he tucked his head down, and he was gone. He took off. In his moments of freedom, he went left. Paul secured Shauna inside the house, and I started to pursue Coco down the Holly Trail. I lost sight of him. I turned the corner onto Shelton, which Holly is here. Shelton is this road. I hung a right. I heard Paul yell, "He's over here, he's over here." I don't remember a chicken coop or a skateboarder or a girl on a bike. I don't. I would guess that the incident changed my memory. Anywho, came up on Coco. He had walked out a little bit into what we later found out was the Puma's yard. Walked back down the carport where this fence was sitting, and I got about 8-10 feet from him, and he leaned into the fence. On the other side of the fence was what later found out was a dog named Lady. When Coco pushed through the fence, Lady engaged him. I can't tell you if the little dog bit, if it attacked, I can't, and I would be lying if I did. But I will tell you that that little dog engaged that big dog. And in defense of its property, absolutely, the dog was doing its job. Size difference right off the bat, a 70-pound dog versus a 20-pound dog. It's not much of a scrum. The bigger dog is going to win given time. Noticing that within the first few seconds, I dove and bore my full weight on Coco, our dog. He did have latched on to the scruff of the neck of the other dog, and knowing full well that I was going to get some sustained injury, and if this dog wanted to, he could take my fingers off. I put my left hand into that dog's mouth, and I picked up with all my force. I did receive a laceration on my middle finger and a few on my index finger, which I later saw medical treatment for. Dogs' mouths aren't the cleanest things out there. I yelled for Paul to grab Lady, the other dog, grab the other dog, and I couldn't tell you if I told the family members to get in the house or not. I wouldn't deny it in a court of law. We separated the animals. Paul handed me the choke chain, in which I took my right hand and affixed around Coco's neck. I picked up on the choke chain, having full control of the animal, and I picked up. I knew I was bleeding. We walked back to our home. We have a privacy fence in the back. First gave him a check out real quick, make sure he was not bleeding. It was just my blood on him. I rinsed my wound, noticed that this was a laceration that needed attention, and besides an antibiotic. So I asked Jess to produce Coco's shot records. Why? Because we're going back to the Pumas. This is an accident, and we're taking accountability of this accident. Go back to the Pumas house. I met Miss Rebecca and her son Carlo. I sent them picture messages of Coco's vet record shots, and then offered my credit card. That they were taking their dog to seek medical attention post the injury. That's pretty much what I remember for mostly that day. I went to Anne Arundel Medical Center. I talked to an animal control officer there at the hospital. The hospital nurse handed me a telephone. I got a case number. I wrote that case number down, and came back to the house where I know the kids were very upset, thinking that their family member, their brother, was going to be in trouble. And that's what I remember of the day.
So the dog normally has a halter as well as a choke collar?
Yes.
So you walk him with 2 leashes? Or?
Yes.
And why is that?
Control.
Because the dog has been a problem, or?
No, it's a bigger dog. I'm a big guy, but if you treat your dog per the trainer's expertise, or it gives you more control over the animal. And Coco is very energetic. He's a hyper boy.
What I'm hearing though is, and I don't know a lot about this stuff, that the halter/leash was not put on properly. Because what I heard you say is that once you disengage the 2 dogs from their altercation, you put it back on and you walk the dog back to the house with the same halter leash that you
Just the
started
choke
out
chain
with.
on the way back.
So apparently, maybe it wasn't put on properly to start with.
It's quite possible. I do not know.
I don't know.
I do not know. I can't say I put it on. I am not a certified
Okay.
harness instructor.
Yeah, right.
Having walked the dog before with no incident, believing I was doing the right thing at the right time. After slipping the harness, the choke chain was merely just to get an angle on me. And he spun around, dropped his head, and the choke chain came over his jowls. But we walked him home after the incident on a choke chain,
Right.
or a pinch chain, I guess it's called.
A pinch collar?
Pinch collar.
No, it's
Is
a
that
choke
where,
chain.
no, a pinch collar's a little different.
It's got prongs.
Pinch collar has prongs that'll go into the
Okay,
dog's
no,
neck.
this is just a chain that tightens down
A
on
choker
top of
chain?
it. Choker chain.
Okay. Who recommended that?
The trainer at PetSmart, his name is Larry.
Ms. Hilton, we don't recognize PetSmart as a obedience trainer type situation.
Okay.
I mean, your dog's in there, it's more or less socialization, a little bit of command, but not fully what an obedience instructor would give you. What age is Coco?
He's a year old. He was born on Christmas Day, so
he's-
he's a year and a few months.
Okay, and he's neutered,
He is.
and he's 70 pounds,
He's 84, I believe.
so he's come up,
They weighed him when he was surrendered.
okay, he's 84.
And he normally is not wearing a halter? You
No.
don't put it on him to take it out, take him
Yes.
out?
You have a fenced-in backyard, privacy fence. He's pretty much lay of the land with his other dog buddy, his sister.
So, I'm trying to picture what you said happened. So, you said he went out the door ahead of you?
Yes.
And the door shut on the leash, and he flipped around while you were on the other side of the door?
Correct.
Okay.
The storm door, or?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a
Storm door.
When he went out ahead of you, you said he was antsy or hyper, he's a hyper boy.
Yes, you
Yeah.
get the leashes and the dogs get they love going to walks.
So when did the harness pop? I'm trying to picture that. So
When
you-
I got the front door open, literally, I'm on left hand, dog was out, sliding glass door, storm door's coming this way, the harness disengaged. I don't know if it's broke,
So the door
popped,
had,
or otherwise.
door had nothing to do with the harness disengaging?
Say that again, sir.
The door had nothing to do with
I don't
the-
believe so.
Okay.
It happened in an instant.
So when you wound up on the other side of the door, the only control you had on the dog was the choker?
Correct, sir.